Chapter 1631. Running away is an inevitable preparation. Zhang Yi directly absorbed the essence of the silver armor. It won't take long for his strength to leap to a higher level again. As for the essences of the two black and white commanders, he also collected them, but he didn't use them himself. Although the essence of the white chariot-level aliens has increased him, it is not great. So, he directly divided the essences of the two to Huahua and Liangyu. The man and the cat were overjoyed. The essence of the Ypsilon level is not so easy to get. Don't slack off. Maybe soon, we will face a new round of impact, Zhang Yi said to them. Everyone was also awakened by Zhang Yi's words. They nodded and said that they would strengthen their vigilance against the entire Tianhai city. At this time, Zhu Zheng's call came in. Zhang Yi smiled faintly. This old guy called now, which was nothing more than some irrelevant and ceremonial words. Zhang Yi answered the call, and Zhu Zheng's brilliant smile suddenly appeared in front of him. Zhang Yi, ha ha ha. This time you really made my Jiangnan district shine. Well done. This time, we completely wiped out the invading alien enemy army. From now on, the whole world will look at us differently. At this point, the smile on Zhu Zheng's face suddenly faded a lot. But other districts are not so happy. Zhu Zheng was happy that the Jiangnan district won a great victory. But the 6 districts of Huashu Kingdom, one rises and one falls together. There is competition between each other on weekdays, but it is a secret competition between brother districts, which is a healthy competition. But the lips and teeth are cold, and the other districts have suffered heavy losses, which is not a good thing for the Jiangnan district. Zhu Zheng thought of this, and naturally felt a little heavy. Zhang Yi was silent for a few seconds, and just said lightly, I reminded them at the beginning that the crisis could come at any time. It was them who did not take my words seriously. Now they have suffered such a loss, and they can't blame others. After killing Wan Ping, Zhang Yi discussed with the heads of various districts how to deal with the possible invasion of unknown civilizations. But at that time, they thought it was Zhang Yi's personal problem and didn't care too much. Therefore, they were attacked one by one, causing huge losses. Only Zhang Yi, relying on sufficient preparation in advance, won an almost perfect victory. If other regions had also made preparations earlier, then the result would definitely not be like this now. Zhu Zheng also sighed. It's hard to predict the world. After all, this is the first time in 3 years since the end of the world that the ground kingdom has been attacked by underground civilization. No one can predict the future, right? By the way, you must have suffered a lot of losses in this battle. Just ask for any supplies you need, and the warehouse of Blizzard City will be open to you without reservation. This time Zhu Zheng was quite generous. The lessons learned from other regions are here. The invasion of the Fog Valley troops was aimed at destroying them. So once there is a problem with Zhang Yi, Blizzard City will be 100% destroyed. Zhang Yi was not polite to Zhu Zheng. I will go to get the supplies. Then, what about the people? We now have 500,000 Yanyan guards in Blizzard City, and we can go to help. After a long period of recuperation, Blizzard City has gradually grown, and the number of Yanyan guards has also increased. Zhang Yi shook his head. I don't need people. Ordinary people or low-level aliens can't play a role in this level of war. Even if they are sent here, they can only work as laborers for Zhang Yi. But Zhang Yi doesn't trust outsiders. Wan Ping was able to sneak in as an undercover. Who can guarantee that there is no undercover in Blizzard City? At this time, Zhang Yi already believed that there was not only a Wan Ping in Tianhai City, but probably all 6 major regions of Huashu Kingdom had undercover sent by the Wulwan Empire. Otherwise, how could they go straight to the hinterland of each major region as soon as they made a move? And the battle was in an orderly manner. Even a retreat was not dragged at all. Even if the alien race was not considered, Zhang Yi was not completely relieved about Zhu Zheng. This old guy took the opportunity to send people to scout the intelligence of Tianhai City. There is a 100% chance. Zhu Zheng nodded. In that case, then I'll listen to you. Zhang Yi ended the communication with Zhu Zheng. He thought about it and felt that he was too lazy to make a trip, so he said directly to Yang Xinxin, Make a list for Blizzard City and ask them to send whatever materials they need. Yang Xinxi nodded. Okay, brother, I'll arrange it right away. Then send all the supplies over. Yang Xinxin's tone was extremely calm. Zhou Kuo and the others almost fell to the ground because of this sentence. Bailey Chongqing was also ashamed. Miss Yang, all the supplies are a bit of a joke, right? Yang Xinxin said lightly, they can only exist if Tianhai City exists. Those weapons, ammunition, and various supplies are what they should give us. Of course, all that Yang Xinxin said would definitely be reserved when it arrived at Blizzard City. However, the amount of supplies sent over would definitely not be small. Zhang Yi called Lu Karen over. Karen, now Tianhai Fortress is our most important asset. I want you to do it one thing. Lu Karen straightened her back. She was 21 years old, and her figure had grown very fast in the past 3 years. It had even begun to take shape. Yes, big brother. Zhang Yi smiled and said, it's not a big deal. I just want you to separate the entire shelter. Zhang Yi picked up a teacup from the table, just like this. It can be built at any time. Lu Karen blinked his big eyes. Big brother, you mean that you can use the different space to collect the shelter at any time and take it away, right? Zhang Yi nodded. That's right. He took a deep breath. Although we won this time, according to the offensive posture of the Fog Valley tribe, they will definitely have the next move. If the gatekeeper of the underworld is also dispatched, we can't stop him with our strength. Zhang Yi said here, suddenly showing a bright smile, and bent his thumb towards himself. However, if we escape, I am still very confident that I can do it. His strength is close to that of a bishop. If he flees with all his strength, among all the aliens he has met so far, no one can stop him except Bai Longzi, who can affect his spatial ability. Lu Karen nodded. This is easy to do. We just need to use E-metal to separate the entire base from the ground. Fatty Sue came over curiously. Boss, are we going to run away? Running away is certainly a means, and we must consider the consequences of defeat. But Zhang Yi took a deep breath, raised his head, and looked out the window. Before that, I want to give it a try. As an alien of the Black Chariot level, his strength is definitely among the best in Huashu country. If even he chooses to run away, then the entire Huashu country will be in real danger. Chapter 1632. Unrelated. That evening, less than half an hour before the end of the Wugu invasion, a special meeting initiated by Shengjing District and attended by the 6 districts was held. The heads of the 6 districts and the highest combat power also participated in the meeting. The images of the various districts were projected in the conference room and also appeared in the hall of Zhang Yi's house. Yang Xinxin and others were listening on the side. In Shengjing District, there was only Meng Yuanjun. He looked at everyone present and asked, Everyone, how is the damage after this battle? For the first time, Han Shanzua's face did not have that heartless expression. He said with a serious face, the northeast regions suffered heavy losses. Fengtian City was mostly destroyed, and many civilians and Tiger Guard soldiers died. On the East China Sea region side, the Supreme Commander Li Guangxia said in a deep voice, the situation in the East China Sea region is even worse. Our naval fleet and ships were almost completely destroyed, and it will be difficult to maintain patrols in the southeastern waters in the short term. Many soldiers died in the battle, but the death of civilians was under control. However, we lost an Ypsilon-class alien Qinglong. As soon as these words came out, the atmosphere on the scene suddenly became silent. Every Ypsilon-class alien is a national treasure, and it is also the most important strategic resource in all regions. But not every region has 2 Ypsilons. For example, the Northeast region has only Han Shanzua supporting it so far. It is conceivable how heavy the loss of the East China Sea region is this time. After listening to this, Li Changgong felt a little relieved. At least for now, their losses are relatively small. No civilian casualties in the Northwest region. Only some of the Wolf Fong guards died in the battle. In addition, we also dealt a heavy blow to the invading enemy, causing them to return in defeat. The others rolled their eyes, silently in their hearts. Return in defeat? If it was really a defeat, then the invaders should have been sent back without return. Everyone experienced the same thing. Who doesn't know that the Fog Valley troops retreated on their own? Why are you still pretending to be so high-handed at this time? Luo Zhua, the current supreme commander of the Southwest region and the leader of the political and religious integration, said, "The Southwest region was not attacked this time, so nothing special happened." Meng Yuanju nodded. "The same is true for Xinjiang region. According to our judgment, this incident may be related to the existence of underground civilizations in the underground of our two regions. There may be some kind of tacit understanding between these underground tribes. That is, they will not invade each other's territory." Han Shanzhua sighed. "So, we are unlucky?" Meng Yuanjun comforted. "That can't be said. After all, the existence of underground civilizations is an unstable factor in itself. Since the riot of the underground civilization in Wugu can threaten our survival, then other underground civilizations may also be possible. So, our two regions are equivalent to living on the crater." Hearing what Meng Yuanjun said, Han Shanzhua also thought of the terrible civilization under the Qinling Mountains, and his heart was slightly balanced. If one day that civilization conflicts with Huaxu State, Xinjiang region must be the first to bear the brunt. Zhang Yi sat on the sofa with his hands crossed, looking at Luo Zhua, and their eyes crossed in midair. Luo Zhua turned around and cast a grateful look at Zhang Yi, because only the two of them knew that the Nash kingdom under the Southwest region had been completely wiped out in that battle. Meng Yuanjun looked at Zhang Yi with a bright smile on his face. "Here, we still have to focus on praising the response of the Jiangnan region." He stretched out his hand to Zhang Yi and Zhu Zheng. This time, facing the invasion of the Wugu alien troops, only the Jiangnan region not only did not suffer much loss, but also wiped out the invaders. After these words, the others were more or less sour. "Although everyone is one of us, everyone has suffered. Only you have not suffered, but have benefited." Others did not say it, but they felt very uncomfortable in their hearts. "But what can we do? Who let Zhang Yi be so strong that he relied on the power of Tianhai City to wipe out the invaders' troops? To put it bluntly, whoever has the strength can afford to play, and those who are not good have to practice more, and complaining is useless." However, Li Changgong still crossed his arms and expressed some opinions on the matter. "The invading underground civilization is from Qingdao Wugu, right?" He looked at Zhang Yi, Li Guangxiao, and Xuanwu. "I remember that it was your Donghai district and Jiangnan district that launched the war against Qingdao. Now that there is a problem, you should bear the main responsibilities. And our northwest and northeast districts have suffered an unexpected disaster." Li Guangxiao's statement was indeed correct. From beginning to end, he did not get any benefits from Qingdao and was beaten up by them, so of course he was angry. Zhang Yi was not an unreasonable person, so he smiled and said to Li Changgong, "Before this incident, I reminded you that Huaxu country might be attacked. It was you who did not prepare well. Who can you blame for this? Besides, you said that the underground civilization of Qingdao was coming for us. According to your statement, they have no grudges against you. Why would they attack you? Since they attacked you, it must be you did something you shouldn't have done." These words were well-reasoned. Li Changgong's face turned green, and he slammed the table. "Hunan, are you still being reasonable? My northwest region is not near the sea. How can we have any relationship with them? It is clearly you who did it, and we all have to pay for it." Before Zhang Yi spoke, Li Guangxiao spoke. "Changgong, you are too impatient. When encountering things, you must calm down and don't act on impulse." Li Guangxiao's words calmed Li Changgong down a little. After all, the two are considered relatives, and Li Guangxiao is Li Changgong's distant uncle. "But I think that every grievance has its perpetrator, and our losses cannot be borne in vain." When Li Changgong said this, his eyes were fixed on Zhang Yi. If the Jiangnan region had suffered the same losses as them in this war, Li Changgong would not have said such a thing. But he was angry. "It was obviously you who caused the trouble, but I suffered when something happened, and you were fine. Who can bear this?" Li Guangxiao took a deep breath and said slowly, "There is no point in arguing about right and wrong in this kind of thing. You have to understand that this is a collision between two different races, so why do you need a reason? Chapter 1633, Skystar. If it is a conflict between countries, there may be a trace of reason and affection. But they, humans, are not of the same race as the underground races under the Fog Valley, so why bother talking about those things? When humans eat chickens and ducks, they don't need to convict them, they just eat them when they want. What Li Guangxiao meant was that the conflict between them and the underground races would come sooner or later. Just this time, the Fog Valley launched an attack on most of the Huashu country, and it was obvious that they were here to destroy them. If it weren't for their strong strength, most of the other countries on this planet would have been destroyed. At this time, it's a bit ridiculous to discuss what is right and wrong. Zhang Yi was very open-minded, crossing his hands under his chin, and said with a dim look, "I admit that we entered Qingdao to search for treasures. But even if we didn't go there, other countries would have entered it. The underground civilization has more and more contacts with humans. Not to mention domestic, there are also many contacts abroad. Conflicts are inevitable. Do you think you won't face risks because you are located inland?" Zhang Yi smiled faintly. It's better to abandon this unrealistic idea as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will suffer more in the future. Li Changgong said coldly, "I'll remember this matter first. I will settle accounts with you sooner or later. It's up to you," Zhang Yi said indifferently. He knew Li Changgong too well. He was very concerned about his face and said more fierce words than anyone else. But if a fight really came, Zhang Yi would not be inferior to him at all. Meng Yuanjun continued, "The biggest problem now is that we don't know whether the enemy will attack again. And when they will attack, we can't hope that the enemy will only launch one attack. And judging from the scale of their attack, they must be here with the intention of destroying our manpower. Therefore, we must be prepared at all times to deal with large-scale attacks that may come at any time." Han Shanzua's eyes flickered, and he said worriedly, "I've only heard of catching thieves for 1,000 days, but I've never heard of guarding against thieves for 1,000 days. What's the point of us being so scared all the time? It's better to organize troops directly, kill into Qingdao Misty Valley, and fight them." Meng Yuanjun shook his head. "This is a very inappropriate approach. According to the intelligence we have obtained, in addition to attacking Huashu, they also attacked the Columbia Navy Ocean Fleet stationed in Neon Harbor. At present, even if we use all the power of Huashu, it is extremely difficult to kill them underground." Luo Zhua asked curiously, "What if we use the God of Love?" "That is our ultimate weapon." Zhang Yi answered this question. He looked at Luo Zhua and said, "The power of the God of Love is indeed strong, but it can only form effective killing power in open areas. Don't say that the underground civilization of Qingdao Wugu survives at least in the space below 10,000 meters underground. Even in the reinforced concrete fortifications hundreds of meters underground, ordinary God of Love is difficult to kill the people inside." Luo Zhua wanted to say, "If you use your ability to bring the God of Love underground, will it work?" But the look Zhang Yi gave him made him shut up in time. When dealing with the Prince of Nash, Zhang Yi took the risk of using the dimensional gate to lead the God of Love underground. But in fact, that action was very dangerous and could go wrong if you were not careful. Moreover, Zhang Yi knew that in the abyss under the Fog Valley, there was a gatekeeper of the underworld. Wasn't he looking for death? Without Zhang Yi's words, Xuanwu took the initiative to mention the existence of the gatekeeper of the underworld. In the Fog Valley, there are more powerful aliens who have not appeared. And none of us know how powerful they are. It is not suitable to launch an attack rashly. Li Changgong frowned deeply. "This is not okay, and that is not okay. Can we only passively take the beatings? How much foundation does my Huashu country have to withstand their attack? Twice. Or 3 times?" He was a little angry. "You are fine, and there is no loss. But our Northwest has lost nearly half of its military strength after this battle. If this continues, we will all be finished." Zhang Yi did not respond to him. Although he did not like Li Changgong's tone, that guy should be angry now. There is no need to continue to rub salt into the wound at this time. Moreover, he came to the meeting this time, thinking of uniting everyone to solve the problem together. He just looked at Meng Yuanjun and said, "General Meng, we don't have a good solution at this point. I can only protect my own little piece of land. But if I need to contribute if there is a good battle plan, I will also actively cooperate." Li Guangxiao looked at Zhang Yi and snorted. "Of course, because if there is another attack, the main target must be your Jiangnan district." "No, it is Tianhai City where you are." Everyone agreed with Li Guangxiao's statement. Because this time only Zhang Yi won a great victory and wiped out all the invading Wugu troops. If the other side wants to counterattack, they will definitely list Tianhai City as a key target and attack with all their strength. Zhang Yi spread his hands. "I don't deny this. But don't forget, as long as I want to leave, I can leave at any time. The land in Tianhai City is not valuable." Li Changgong's face became more and more ugly. They all have families and jobs and cannot leave their hometowns. But for Zhang Yi, the world is so big. Where can he go? A space-based alien of the Black Chariot level can easily collect the supplies of the entire city, even take away his house, and then find a safe place to hide. Who can find him? Meng Yuanjun smiled and looked at Zhang Yi. If chaos is willing to take action, then we are not without any way to deal with the possible crisis. Everyone turned their eyes to Meng Yuanjun. They wanted to hear what the newly appointed Supreme Commander of Shengjing District had to say. Meng Yuanjun made way half a body, and a middle-aged man in the uniform of a major of the Longming Guard appeared in the projection. "Let me introduce you. This is Dai Sheng, the Tian Jiesheng, among the 36 Tian gang of Shengjing. He is a space-based ability user, and his ability is space transmission." Meng Yuanjun signaled Dai Sheng to come forward and introduce himself. Dai Sheng walked over with his back straight and saluted solemnly. "Hello, leaders of all regions. My ability is called Star Cluster. I can leave coordinates at any space node, and then activate my ability to transmit things to the space node. As long as I leave corresponding space nodes in each region, I can achieve seamless personnel transmission between the 6 regions." Chapter 1630, 4 Global Request for Assistance. The ability of the Dai Phoenix is indeed very useful. As long as it is used properly, the combat power of the 6 regions can be concentrated together. In this way, it will be convenient to fight the enemy. And if they support each other, they don't need to worry about their base camp being attacked by the enemy. Meng Yuanjun smiled and said, "The military strength between the 6 regions is not balanced, and this time, our 3 regions have hardly suffered too much loss. So, in the next war, we will take on the main task of fighting the enemy. Even if the other 3 regions are attacked by the enemy, we can provide rapid support," Meng Yuanjun said, looking at Zhang Yi. "Especially Chaos, your combat effectiveness is now top-notch in Huaxu country. And relying on your own strength, you annihilated the 3 Ypsilons in Wugu. So, in the next operation, I hope you can take the lead." Li Changgong said, "The incident was caused by you, so of course you have to bear the main responsibility for this matter." Zhang Yi was too lazy to pay attention to him and just said lightly, "In terms of combat effectiveness, Shengjing District is now the best in Huaxu country. Ho-Tu and Xidagarba have never taken action. This time it is a national event. We can't hide anymore, right? And speaking of responsibility, I have only been to Qingdao once. Since then, the East China Sea District has been confronting the Columbia Ocean Fleet around Qingdao. Responsibility? Ha. Zhang Yi glanced at Li Changgong coldly. "My responsibility doesn't seem to be that big. Go Chun, I see that your Northwest District has suffered heavy losses, and I don't want to hit you. But do you really think I'm letting you go? Don't provoke me. I can kill the silver-armored alien in Wugu. Guess if I can kill you?" Zhang Yi's words immediately made the atmosphere of the whole meeting depressing. He didn't want to pay attention to Li Changgong, but that guy kept getting ahead of him, and Zhang Yi was not going to tolerate him. How can you say such things in front of so many high-level people in the region? You are simply lawless," Li Changgong said angrily. He was going to get angry, but thinking about it carefully, if he really broke up with Zhang Yi, he really couldn't beat him. Not to mention that he couldn't beat him. With Zhang Yi's strength, he could break into Chang'an City and take his head directly. Okay, now that we are facing a great enemy, Our 6 regions should work together to face the current crisis together. Don't fight among ourselves. Meng Yuanjun looked at Li Changgong. Go Chen, if you encounter a crisis again in the future, your northwest region may have to rely on chaos for help. Be more restrained. Li Changgong thought about it, and it was indeed the truth. So, he had to hold back his grievances. Meng Yuanjun smiled at Zhang Yi again and said, "Han done. The northwest region suffered heavy casualties, and Go Chen is in a bad mood at the moment. I hope you can understand, and don't bother with him." Zhang Yi said lightly, "I am naturally reasonable." He rubbed the back of his hand and slowly spoke again, saying in a faint tone, "But there is still a most difficult problem at the moment. This must be decided by Shengjing region." A strange color flashed in Meng Yuanjun's eyes. "Oh, I would like to hear more about it." Zhang Yi slowly uttered a name, the gatekeeper of the underworld. Xuanwu's face changed immediately. Others may have only heard of this existence, but only Zhang Yi and Xuanwu have really faced that existence like a demon god. 2 years ago, he made a casual move, and Zhang Yi, Xuanwu, and Cartier's tried their best to save their lives. To this day, thinking of his power, Zhang Yi and Xuanwu are extremely afraid. Obviously, the strength of that person is far above those silver armors. If the gatekeeper of Hades also attacks at that time, who can stop him? Zhang Yi stared at Meng Yuanjun. If the gatekeeper of Hades attacks, I am definitely not his opponent. At that time, we have to ask the foundation of Huashu country, Ho-Tu and Xidagarba, to take action. After the end of the world, the first Epsilon-level alien born in Huashu country is also a natural alien. For a long time, Ho-Tu was known as the strongest alien in Huashu country. Even though she has only taken action a few times, she still brought a lot of deterrence to the aliens in other regions. But over time, her next actions were only symbolic, and she has never been seen fighting the enemy with all her strength. So Zhang Yi and others are very curious, how strong is Ho-Tu now? Now facing the crisis of the entire Huashu country, she can no longer hide behind the scenes. Zhang Yi's words made everyone look at Meng Yuanjun, obviously expecting Ho-Tu to come out as the main force to meet the enemy. Meng Yuanjun smiled slightly. Of course. When the time comes, no one can stay out of it. In addition, I have already asked for help from all major forces in the world in the name of Huashu. In the next battle, we must go all out and win in one battle. Only by deterring the forces under the Fog Valley can we guarantee our peace. Li Changgong frowned. Ask those foreigners for help? They just want to see us in trouble. How can they help us? Meng Yuanjun said, if it were in the past, they might not help. But now, the situation is different. What we are facing is the common enemy of mankind. Once Huashu has problems, it will be difficult for them to escape. Zhang Yi said lightly, in short, I'll leave these arrangements to you. I will do my best to provide my own combat power after the war begins. Death is the dividing point. Once he finds himself encountering an unbeatable enemy or a death crisis, Zhang Yi will escape as soon as possible. At worst, he will release the god of death of love and let others die together with the gatekeeper of the underworld. Zhang Yi also believes that the god of death of love is definitely a part of the plan. Meng Yuanju nodded. As for the complete battle plan, we will work tirelessly in the next period of time and use all the resources at hand to formulate the best plan. Zhang Yi turned his head and whispered to Yang Xinxin, you are responsible for following up on this matter. It's not that I don't trust Meng Yuanjun and others, but in this kind of action, once you follow up less, you may be put on the sacrifice link. This is what Zhang Yi must avoid. Yang Xinxin nodded. The entire plan of the action must be reviewed by us and confirmed to be correct before it can be implemented. Then, the video conference continued for a whole day. Because no one knew when the war would break out again, it had to be arranged as soon as possible. The request for help from Shengjing District was also sent to all forces that were able to come to support. Chapter 1635, Temple of the Gods. Shengjing's distress signal was sent to the whole world, and it showed the criticality of the situation. After all, Huashu is now one of the most powerful countries on the entire planet. If even Huashu can't stop the attack of Wugu, then sooner or later, When other countries face the same crisis, the outcome will only be worse. Although it was a request for help, Huaxiu's attitude was very appropriate. But the meaning of the words was also very clear. Now is the time for the major forces of mankind to help each other. No one can guarantee that they will not get into trouble next. At that time, Huaxiu will also help. After receiving the Huaxiu signal for help, the first to express its attitude was Colombia, its old rival for many years. Colombia immediately expressed its willingness to send an elite force to assist Huaxiu in defense. This is easy to understand. After all, they also suffered heavy losses in this war. Moreover, the ocean fleet has been almost destroyed at this time. If the forces under Wugu are allowed to attack Huaxiu, then from now on, the entire Southeast Asian region will be cut off. They will be forced to give up their hegemony over the ocean. Regardless of the level of consideration, they have sufficient reasons to join this war against aliens. On the other hand, Franklin, the capital of Colombia, has sent people to the Neon Naval Base to assist in defense. You can come to Huaxiu country nearby to wait and see how powerful the power of Fog Valley is and use this intelligence to measure Colombia's next defense work. Fremons, the capital of Karen. In this country that worships power, there is a temple of the gods formed by the strongest aliens in the country. When the call for help from Huaxiu country arrived here, this group of aliens with supreme status gathered here to decide whether to go to support. On the throne made of ice and snow, sharp ice spikes exude a bone-chilling chill. The entire hall is filled with the coldness of the Arctic, and the ground is covered with a thick layer of frost because of the excessively cold breath. The one sitting on the throne was a woman wearing a black battle suit, with a ponytail and a face as sharp as a knife. The strongest being in Fremons, goddess of winter, Morana. And on the 2 rows of high seats below, sat one after another strong men standing at the top of the Fremons alien world. God of War, Svenevit, who had a big beard and a black shamanic talisman on his bald head, looked at the 13th level civil servant in the center of the Temple of the Gods with an indifferent face. Zhu Halai, who came to report the news, straightened his back and said word by word, Huaxiu country asked us for help and asked us to send aliens to help them resist the invasion of the underground civilization forces from Qingdao Wugu. Whether to go to support, I hope you can decide. Morana's gray-blue eyes stared at Zhu Halai coldly, with his hands crossed in front of him, but he didn't say a word. Sventovit below spoke first. A large-scale invasion by underground civilization forces? This is the first time. Even the Huaxiu kingdom with top power has to seek help from outside. Hey, it looks like there is a lot of trouble. On the other side, Sverag, the god of fire, who was sitting with his legs crossed and had long curly hair and a black mustache, said, according to intelligence, they have repelled the first round of attacks. However, they paid a heavy price. He glanced at the others and said lightly, I don't recommend our people to go. After all, this war is extremely dangerous. It is said that some Epsilon-level aliens have died in the Huaxiu kingdom. Besides, our situation is not that good now. It is not convenient to interfere in other people's family affairs. On the other side, a young man wearing a black leather jacket with exaggerated white hair on his head spread his hands and persuaded. But if the Huaxiu kingdom to our south has been invaded by the underground civilization, it is difficult to guarantee that it will not be our turn in the future. We are already facing enough troubles in the Arctic Ocean. If there is an invasion in the south, we will be too busy to deal with it. The young man in black who spoke was Xenoborg, the god of darkness, of the pantheon. Sverag said, Huaxiu is very powerful. Even if we don't send people to help, I believe they won't fall so easily. What's more, a dark color flashed in his eyes. It is difficult to maintain absolute peace between two neighboring great powers. If their power is weakened, it may not be a bad thing for us. He raised his head and looked at Morana, who had been silent. In Fremons, the most powerful god is not the father and mother of the gods who created everything, but the goddess of winter, who controls winter and can destroy everything with blizzards. If Su Chunlei sees Morana one day, he will understand what Zhang Yi meant when he said that ice and snow aliens are the most favored darlings in this ice age. Morana is the one who can make the final decision. She glanced at the god of fire, but then looked at another high throne in the hall. There was a man there who had not spoken a word. He had short brown hair and a neat beard, and looked as strong as a polar bear. He was not outstanding in appearance and even looked a little dull. Even though the Pantheon was already clamoring about aiding Huashu, he still just sat quietly on the high throne without saying a word. Morana asked softly, "Alexei, what do you think?" Hearing Morana's question, the man slowly raised his head. Alexei Ivanov, codenamed Thunder God Purin. Everyone also cast their eyes on Alexei. This powerful and honest man has always had a very good reputation in the Pantheon. Whether it is strength or character, he is very worthy of respect. Alexei just said slowly and leisurely, "I think that compared to the human kingdom, the mysterious and terrifying civilizations that appeared after the end of the world are the biggest enemies. Maybe one day, we will also need assistance from Huashu Kingdom." He paused for 2 seconds and continued, "Or maybe that day will not be far away." Morana still had a cold face, but his gray-blue eyes were obviously deeper. The god of fire still insisted, "But now, we also have problems to solve. Those strange phenomena that appeared in the Far East have not yet been investigated clearly." But these words made Morana's eyes firm. "Alexei, you're going to Huashu country, which represents our attitude." The people in the Pantheon below immediately shut up when they heard this. Morana's words were her decisions, and she would not allow anyone to question them. And all those who tried to challenge her authority had already received a very cruel lesson.